بسم الله الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Tonight, inshallah, we begin at Hadith 30. عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشد رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها، وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها، وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها، وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير النسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره. I'm going to repeat the hadith one more time, and then we see who would like to read the hadith. عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها، وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها، وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها، وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره. Is there anyone who would like to read the hadith, inshallah? Ayman, بدي تقرأ؟ بارك الله فيك. أحسن. حديث 30. نعم. خذ هذا. You can take this one. You got it?
عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها، وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها، وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها فلا تنتهكوها، وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره.
رواه الدارقطني. بارك الله فيك وفتح الله عليك.
وغيره.
بارك الله فيك وفتح الله عليك. يا أخي بارك الله فيك فتح الله عليك. أبي نأخذ كتابها ولا عندك؟
عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها، وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها، وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها، وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره.
بارك الله فيك وفتح الله عليك.
عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها، وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها، وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها، وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره.
بارك الله فيك وفتح الله عليك.
عن أبي ثعلبة خشني جرثوم بني ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبعثوا عنها حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره.
بارك الله فيك، فتح الله عليك. تقرأ؟ أحسنت.
عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر
Get the mic up a little bit.
عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره.
بارك الله فيك، فتح الله عليك. Anyone else would like to read? طيب. Sisters, is there any sister who would like to read? طيب. Repeat after me together. عن أبي ثعلبة الخشني جرثوم بن ناشر رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها. إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها وحد حدودا فلا تعتدوها وحرم أشياء فلا تنتهكوها وسكت عن أشياء رحمة لكم غير نسيان فلا تبحثوا عنها. حديث حسن رواه الدارقطني وغيره. What do we learn from this hadith? If there is any sister who would like to read, please let me know. What do we learn from this hadith? Faddal, use the mic.
That we shouldn't cross the boundaries Allah set out for us.
One more time.
We shouldn't cross the boundaries.
We should not cross the boundaries.
Allah
okay.
set out for us.
Okay. Inshallah. Anything else? What else do we learn? What do we take away from this hadith tonight? Shabab? What else do we take away from this hadith? طيب. Let's get. Faddal.
Details that were omitted on purpose, so we should not fetch ask too many questions on specific subjects that
Okay.
the Prophet or Allah intentionally didn't reveal to us.
Okay. Barakallah fiqh. Any other comment? Any other lesson from the hadith? طيب. Let's go to the matan of the hadith. إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها. إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها. The first question I have for you tonight, what is the meaning of the word fara'id? What is the meaning of the word fara'id in English? How would you translate the word fara'id? Anyone? What is the meaning of the word fara'id in English? How would you explain or translate the meaning of fara'id? Use the mic, please. Get it closer because it's
Sort of like laws.
what's that?
Laws.
Laws, okay. Any other meaning for fara'id? Use the mic.
Regulation.
So you have laws, you have regulations. Any other meaning for the word fara'id? Use the mic, please. Fara'id.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. Obligation.
طيب, go ahead. تفضل. Get it closer.
Obligations.
Obligations. Okay. Any other meaning for the word fara'id? طيب. Fara'id, is it a plural word or is a singular word? It's a plural. Give me the singular word. Use the mic, please. The singular word for this word fara'id
In English?
in English.
Duty.
In Arabic.
Fard.
Fard. So in Arabic
Fard.
it's fard. Plural, fara'id. So how do you translate fard in English?
Obligatory action or
Okay.
duty.
Okay. Okay. طيب. So now we know the meaning of fard. We know the meaning of fara'id. According to the Sharia, who has the authority to make a legislation, to make a ruling, to make something obligatory or not? Obligatory duty or obligatory act. According to Sharia, who has the authority to set something, to make it fard or fara'id and so forth? Yes.
Allah.
Allah Azza wa Jal. Yes. So the Sharia comes from Allah Azza wa Jal, and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will explain to us what Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed and what Allah Azza wa Jalla made it fard upon us. That's why I asked this question. Now we're going back. Inna Allah ta'ala farada fara'ida. So in other words, no one can make something obligatory upon us except Allah Azza wa Jal and what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam related to us مما أوحى الله عز وجل إليه, from that which Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed to him through the kitab, through the wahi. So inna Allah ta'ala farada fara'ida. Verily Allah Azza wa Jalla has made the fara'id obligatory deeds, meaning he made this fara'id known. He made this law of the fard or the fara'id. Farada fara'id. So who can tell me what is the meaning of this word? Farada. Yes.
He is obligated.
Yep, that's correct. Farada fara'id. Farada fara'id. Allah Azza wa Jalla obligated. He made it obligatory upon us. What? To observe this fara'id. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. What is the meaning? طيب, فضل. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا.
So do not forget them.
Do not forget them. Okay. Any other meaning? فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Yes.
Or lose them.
Do not lose them. Yes. Any other meaning? فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Do not neglect them. So do not forget them. Do not leave them. Do not abandon them. Do not neglect them. All these are the meaning. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Do not forget them. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Do not put them off. Do not leave them. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Do not abandon them. فَلَا تُضَيِّعُوهَا. Do not neglect them. طيب. I have a question. When Allah Azza wa Jalla and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained a teaching in Sharia, in the Deen. And Allah Azza wa Jalla and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, do not neglect them. Do not leave them off. Do not abandon them. What does it mean? What does this statement mean? Do not abandon them. Do not forget them. In other words, why? Do you understand my question? Now I hang out with you, and then we had a conversation one-on-one, and I said, listen, man, this is very important. Don't abandon it. Don't let it go. In other words, there is a significance. مش هيك؟ For the significance and the importance of the fara'id. It's not fadl.
It's your creator saying it, so like it means something big. Allah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially it's coming from Allah Azza wa Jal. There is no if, there is no but, there is no alternative, there is no any second opinion that you have option either or. No. إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها. I have another question, Ikhwan. I'm going to start from right to left, just to keep you involved. Give me one example of an obligatory act in the deen. One example. Give him the mic. Give me one example of fariḍah min al-fara'id. Just one example.
Praying.
Absolutely right. Praying. How do you translate praying in Arabic?
Salah.
Salah. And by the way, praying also go with the dua also. Okay? As-salah wa dua كذلك. So, but you are right. Praying. That is correct. Give me an example of fard min al-fara'id. One example. Don't repeat what he said.
Zakah.
Zakah. Pass the mic to my friend. Give me one example of fard.
Allah.
He said what? MashaAllah. Give me one example of fard.
Ramadan, fasting.
So fasting, and you all right. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Give me one example of fard.
Believing in Allah Azza wa Jal.
Okay, I'll let it pass. Give me one example of fard min al-fara'id.
Hajj, if you can.
I love the end part. Hajj, if you can. You know what I'm saying? Because Allah mentioned لِمَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. So you are right. Hajj is fard. Lakin, maybe someone cannot afford it. If you can afford it, you're right. Give me example of fard min al-fara'id.
بر الوالدين.
ما شاء الله. بر الوالدين وقضى ربك. شوف قضاء أي أمر وحكم. قضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا. So Allah Azza wa Jalla made it fard upon us. ما شاء الله. Give me example of fard min al-fara'id. You can repeat, no problem.
Salah.
Salah, I give it to you. That's great. Give me example. You can repeat. Fard min al-fara'id. One.
Zakah.
Zakah, you are right. Give me example. Fard min al-fara'id.
وأطيعوا الله ورسوله وأولي الأمر منكم.
طيب أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. Allah Azza wa Jalla made it obligatory upon us to be dutiful and obedient to Allah Azza wa Jalla and His Rasul, and be obedient to those among us who are in authority. Jazakumullah khair. I just want to make sure that those who don't hear their voices, make sure that they speak loud. So, إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها وحد حدودا وحد حدودا. What is the meaning of حد in this context, in this hadith? حد حدودا. You can give me both. تفضل. Use the mic, please. وحد حدودا. What does it mean?
And he set out boundaries.
Yes, absolutely. وحد حدودا, and he set boundaries. So boundaries, you can say, give me example of a boundary in Islam. حد حدودا. Okay, let me continue. He set a boundary. فلا تعتدوها. I'll come back. فلا تعتدوها. What does it mean? فلا تعتدوها. Any other hand? يلا اخوانا. Yo. فلا تعتدوها.
Do not cross it.
Do not cross them. طيب. I want an example. Give me example of a boundary Allah Azza wa Jalla set boundaries and we should not cross them. Give me example. One. Faddal.
How many rak'ahs you could do for each salah?
Okay. Any example? Listen to this. حد حدودا. Allah Azza wa Jalla set a boundary, don't cross them. So he said, for example, you have to pray Maghrib 3 times, don't go overboard. Don't pray more than that. Because Allah said amount of rak'at you should pray. Okay. Give me an example of hadd min al-hudud, a boundary that Allah said that you should not cross.
So, to only worship Him. To
Okay.
worship Allah.
So worship Allah, do not commit shirk. Okay. Any example? حد حدودا فلا تعتدوها. Like what?
The stealing, for example, he said.
MashaAllah. Fatah Allahu alayk. So basically, it is haram to steal. So that is a boundary. And I should not steal you or steal from you. You should not steal from me. So it's both. So it's a law. It is a boundary that you should not cross. Any example? I'll come back to you. Any example of a boundary?
Killing.
What is that?
Killing.
Oh, mumtaz. Fatah Allahu alayk. Say it again.
Killing.
Yes, mumtaz. Killing. So it's haram to kill. It's a boundary. You do not kill. Of course, لا يحل دم امرئ مسلم إلا بإحدى ثلاث. And then, of course, sometimes you have exceptional clause and exceptional case. But in general, do not kill. It's a boundary. Any other example of hadd min hududillah that you should not cross? Any example? Fadal, give me example of a boundary you should not cross.
Don't eat khanzir.
He said, don't eat khanzir, right? So you have food that is haram, do not eat. It is a boundary. Fathallahu alayk. Any example? Fadal. Use the mic. Do not cross the boundary.
The amount that's minimum for zakat.
Okay. So basically, when you have wealth, you should give zakah, right? So when you refuse to give zakah, you cross the boundary, basically. Let me say this in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this takes us to the perimeters of al-halal wal-haram. إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراع يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يرتع فيه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب أخرجه البخاري ومسلم. So coming back, whatever Allah Azza wa Jalla has forbidden is a red line. That's the meaning. So إن الله تعالى فرض فرائض فلا تضيعوها وحد حدودا. Allah Azza wa Jalla has set a line, a limit, a boundaries. فلا تعتدوها. Do not cross them. In other words, do not do what Allah Azza wa Jalla has forbidden. So had is a boundary. وحرم أشياء. You can stop me, you can ask me a question by the way. وحرم أشياء. What is the meaning of حرم أشياء? حرم أشياء. I have only one hand. Come on يا إخواننا. حرم أشياء. تفضل.
And he forbids certain things?
Yes, absolutely. حرم أشياء. He forbids certain things. Give me an example of something which is haram in Islam. Anything that you remember that this is haram in Islam. I'm going to start from right to left. Mention one and don't repeat. From right. Mention one.
Bad guys.
What is that? Bad guys, right? Okay, give the mic to the brother. From the right, mention one. Each one will mention one. Act which is haram.
Eating pork.
Eating pork is haram. Let's go.
Consuming alcohol.
Alcohol is haram. The mic to the back. And I'll come to you, Mahmoud. Mention one. One thing which is haram in Islam. Use the mic close to you.
There's a lot.
Yeah, mention one. I don't want a lot. Keep the mic close. Mention one.
Just give me a second.
Well, you said it's a lot. Mention one. You don't remember anything
Yeah,
haram?
don't look at the woman's like you're not
What's that?
like looking. Don't look it's good now. Don't look at for women who is not your wife. Like
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
yeah.
So gazing, at women who are not, lawful to you is haram. That's correct. Mention one act which is haram.
No lying.
Okay. Next, Mahmoud, I didn't hear from you. I want to hear from you.
It was a collaborative effort.
Mahmoud, that's 3 in 1, right? Mention one haram.
Stealing.
Stealing. Let's go. Behind you.
Riba.
Riba. Mention one haram.
Gambling.
Gambling.
Zina is haram.
Zina. Mention one.
Pretty much what they said. I'll skip for now.
You skip for now.
Beer.
What is that?
Beer.
Beer. Meaning alcohol. Yes, it's haram. طيب. Gonna pass? Gonna pass?
Killing.
Killing. Yes, that's right. Killing is haram. That's right. Let's go. Mention one act which is haram.
حقوق الوالدين.
عقوق الوالدين, yes. Disobedient to parents is haram. Mention one act which is haram in Islam. Naam.
Swearing.
So I would take it, yes, shahadatul zur. Okay? Shahadatul zur. False, testimony and lying.
Backbiting.
Backbiting, cheating, slandering. You can go on and on like you said. There are a lot of. So وَحَرَّمَ أَشْيَاءَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla forbade certain things. فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا. What is the meaning of فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا? You have the mic.
Do not approach it.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Any other meaning? فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا.
Don't do them.
Don't do them. That's correct. Any other meaning? Both correct. Any other meaning? فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا.
Do not breach them.
Do not breach them. Yes. Any other meaning? فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا. Do not violate them. Do not commit them. Do not violate them. فَلَا تَنْتَهِكُوهَا. وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء. وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء. What's the meaning? وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء. وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء. Give the mic to the brother. Behind you. وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء.
Well, if we take the literal meaning of the sukut, it means silence.
Yes.
Yeah. But he didn't mention them.
Okay. Okay. Give the mic to وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء. You're right.
So, and he didn't comment on some things.
Okay, that's correct. وَسَكَتَ عَنْ أَشْيَاء.
And he was silent on something.
Yeah, and you are right. In other words, there are things that Allah Azza wa Jalla made it very clear. These are fara'id, obligatory acts, obligatory deeds. And there are, things that Allah Azza wa Jalla made it very clear. These are haram. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla also, there are ashya sakata anha. He did not make any ruling or comment on them. Rahmatan lakum ghayra nisyan. Rahmatan lakum. So rahmatan lakum, it's a mercy for you. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, out of His mercy, He left certain things. He was silent. Rahmatan lakum ghayra nisyan. In other words, not forgetfulness. Allah Azza wa Jalla has not forgotten. فَلَا تَبْحَثُوا عَنْهَا. So Allah Azza wa Jalla did not comment on certain things, rahmatan lakum, out of mercy for you. فَلَا تَبْحَثُوا عَنْهَا. Do not question them. Do not, dig down. Do not ask about them and so forth. Now, one more time. What do you take from this hadith? Any question? You have any question from this hadith? You have any follow-up on this hadith? Do you have any clarification from this hadith? Is there anything you would like to you know what? So how do we explain this? How do we... Faddal, use the mic, please. I know this mic is not very loud. Naam.
Allah made everything clear in the Quran or through the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, through the hadith. So sometimes people dig deep inside and they want to know more or just question too much so that they question the authority of Allah.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair. Well, first of all, as believers, men and women, we have to be dutiful and obedient to Allah Azza wa Jal. What Allah Azza wa Jal made it clear in the Quran, and what Allah Azza wa Jal made it clear through the teachings of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we follow their teachings. So the last part of the hadith, we should not question certain things that is not clearly stated in the Quran, it's not clearly stated in the hadith, and that we should not make too much of like assumption and try to make up some questions to bring some argument. Sometimes some people, min bab al-falsafi, it's like philosophizing some questions, trying to make some questions up. Okay, what about if had happened? That's why some scholars, when you ask them questions, they will ask you, this really happened? Say, no, this is something that I'm asking, what about if this had happened? And then Sheikh will say, leave it. When it happens, Allah Azza wa Jalla will make a way for it. Allah will make an answer for it, a resolution to this, a solution to it. So in other words, cut it out. Don't make things up before it even happens. I was listening to the news, and today on BBC, and they were talking about the black hole, and the scientists or whatever, they're talking about the black hole and the gravity and all that, and how much size. Anyway, so basically, especially when something comes up, which is new, whether it's scientific, discovery, it begs some questions, which is legit. It's legitimate question because there are contemporary issues that come up. So when something comes up, yes, we have a right to ask, okay, do we have anything in the deen to explain certain things and so forth? There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. We talk about the Big Bang. Is there anything in Islam about the Big Bang and so forth? So in general, what I'm saying is that don't make up questions which are like unfounded. There is nothing to connect with it, to relate to the question and so forth. And sometimes there is hadith. I remember the meaning of the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, it is a punishment, the general meaning of the hadith, on someone who kept asking questions. Asking questions. So much so something became haram because of the person's frequent asking of questions and digging down and following up. And then it wasn't haram, but because the person was asking question and question, it became haram because of persistence and asking. So that person will bear a sin because he has a hand in it. In one of the hadith, إنما أهلك الذين من قبلهم كثرة مسائلهم واختلافهم على أنبيائهم. Part of those who passed, أهلك الذين من قبلكم. Those before us, some of them were destroyed. Why? Two reasons. كثرة مسائلهم. Because they asked too many unnecessary questions. Unnecessary questions. واختلافهم على أنبيائهم. And they differ. Meaning they do not obey. They differ from the teachings of their prophets and messengers. Now, any other question? Faddal. Use the mic, please.
So if there is a boundary and everything is clear, then why do we have the mutashabihat? Why are there some gray areas?
Okay. So you had the question. Brother is asking about mutashabihat. Basically, as Allah mentioned in the Quran, that you have ayat in the Quran, muhkamat, and then you have mutashabihat. Mutashabihat basically are revelations that has no clear meaning. That has no clear meaning. That's what Allah Azza wa Jalla explained. Those who are believers, they follow. They surrender. They are obedient to Allah Azza wa Jal. But other people who do not believe as they should, فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ. Why? Allah said, ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله والراسخون في العلم يقولون آمنا به كل من عند ربنا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب. So basically, those who believe, they say, look, that which is clear and that which is not clear is all from Allah Azza wa Jal. So basically, from the revelation of Allah Azza wa Jal, you have Hunna Ummul Kitab. You have some revelations which are very clear teaching from the Kitab, and you have no any issues to understand them. And you have some other explanation, sometimes regarding to the Sifat Allah Azza wa Jal, the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. We talk in the Aqidah about the Istiwa and other, the hand of Allah, the Saq of Allah, and so forth. Some people, what they do, they go into the trend, ibtigha'a ta'wili. They try to change the meaning. Why are they doing that? Ibtigha'a al-fitna. They delve into fitna. وابتغاء تأويله. And when you go into that trend, two things. Either you follow the fitna, which will be a fitna for you in your deen, and question your understanding and faith in Allah Azza wa Jal and His ayat and His revelations. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Why? Because at the end, and then you have people divided in different sects. Those who are saying Allah has no hands, Allah has no saq, Allah has no this. Why? They say Allah Azza wa Jalla, ta'ala Allah Azza wa Jalla an yakuna lahu yad. Why? Because they try to have the similarity with the hands of Allah Azza wa Jalla with our own hands, or the hearing of Allah with our hearing, and so forth. So in a nutshell, when we say mutashabihat, that refers to revelations of Allah Azza wa Jalla which are not very clear to us, except those whom Allah Azza wa Jalla has given the ilm. الراسخون في العلم يقولون آمنا به. Even them, they don't question it. They believe in both the muhkamat and the mutashabihat. I don't know whether I'm explaining it into details.
In a nutshell, can we conclude that?
I'll come back to you.
It's just a test. The mutashabihat is a test for you, so just take it as it is without asking.
Exactly. You take it as Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed it, you believe it, you understand it, even though you don't know in actuality. For example, we talk about the al-istiwa. Al-istiwa ma'lum, wal-kayfu majhul, was-su'al anhu bid'ah. Do you understand, right? So you take it as it is, without digging. Why? Because you would not understand. You would not. Faddal.
Not 100% haram and not 100% halal. They're just in the gray area. I think
is that what you're talking about?
Not mutashabihat.
Oh, okay. Jazakallah khair. But thank you for bringing both. So basically, as I was saying from the hadith, إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات. So, and that is referring to matters that are ambiguous, meaning unclear matters. For example, doubtful matters. Something you don't know whether it is halal or it is haram. It is gray. Gray. Some scholars made a statement that you would not attain a status of muttaqeen, those who are pious and fearing Allah Azza wa Jal. لا يبلغ المرء أن يكون من المتقين حتى يترك ما لا بأس به. حذرا مما به بأس. You would not attain the position and the level of those who have taqwa until you eschew. You stay away. You leave that which is not harmful. It's not haram. Why should you leave it off? For the fear of that which is haram. That is because there is shubha. There is ambiguity. It's not clear. You don't know whether it's halal, but you know it is haram. You know it's not haram. It's gray. So it's part of the things that will cause shubha to you. I'm sorry?
Can you give some examples?
He said, can we give an example? For example, some scholars made general ruling about the people of the book, Ahlul Kitab, and that their food is lawful. Okay? Their food, in general, it is lawful. اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم. So in general, the food of the people of the book, Christians and Jews, permissible to eat. Now, this includes the food that you have, like in the stores, the meat that they sell. This includes even, let's say, that food that they sell at McDonald's and other places. You cannot say this is haram 100% unless you have dalil. So this falls into the gray. In general, it's part of the food of the Ahlul Kitab. But he said, you know what? I fear that there might, let me say that again. I fear that there is probability that some contamination, because they have baking over there, they're selling pork and everything, right? So even if you have the Big Mac with no pork or no baking, you never know. Maybe in the process, there is some cross-contamination. So you avoid it. This takes you to the shubha. So you don't say that it's haram 100% because it's part of the food of Ahlul Kitab. But you don't want to say it is, you don't say it's halal 100%. You don't say it's haram 100%, but you fear that maybe there is contamination and so forth. So in general, it's the food of the Ahlul Kitab. The same thing that the meat you have in the stores. Now, in general, they're selling chicken. Okay? They're selling beef. So in general, it is the meat. So when we say ta'am Ahlul Kitab, they mean the slaughtering. It's a meat of Ahlul Kitab. Can you buy it and cook it and eat? The answer is yes. But your level of Iman is like, you know what? I really don't feel good about it. You know, you leave that which is doubtful to that which you are not doubtful. So this falls in the gray area. Because you saying that, you know, yes, it's part of the food of Ahlul Kitab, but I'm not sure who slaughtered. Maybe the slaughter house, maybe they have Sikh who's slaughtering. Maybe they have Buddhist who's slaughtering. So it falls in. Do you understand? So you have shubha. So, but in general, can you eat? Because the general ruling is that the doubt is not a dalil to prevent you. The doubtfulness is not a certainty. Al-yaqeen, the certainty is that which cuts off. You know what? I am 100% sure this is it. Khalas. But not knowing is not a dalil to make it haram. So that is, it falls into the mutashabihat. So do you understand, right? So you can just say, no, I'm not going to eat this. That's why the hadith is, إِنَّ الْحَلَالَ بَيِّنٌ وَإِنَّ الْحَرَامَ بَيِّنٌ وَبَيْنَهُمَا أُمُورٌ مُشْتَبِهَاتٌ. There are matters that are unclear. لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس. The hadith says, فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبُهَاتِ. Whoever stays away from the unclear matters, ambiguous matters, فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. You safeguard your deen, your religion, and your honor. وَمَنْ وَقَعَ فِي الشُّبُهَاتِ وَقَعَ فِي الْحَرَامِ. Anyone who falls into the shubuhat, unclear matters, is likely will fall into the haram. The example, you have a shepherd who has his flock grazing around, you know, private pasture or no trespassing. And you have these sheep and goats, they might go into no trespassing. So this is just an example of the, and there are many hadith. There is hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٍ, that a time will come. This is the time we're living in. A time will come to people. Even those who do not deal with riba, they do not deal directly with riba, but the smoke or the wind or the vapor or the ghubar, okay, of the riba will still reach you. Why? Because you have riba in everything. In everything. You're renting an apartment. The contract you sign might involve late fee. It is riba. You have credit card for necessity. You're using it. In the fine, the agreement, the fine print, it involves riba. Even if you pay off on time, you don't default, you don't pay late fee, you pay on time, but yes, in the contract, there is riba. Do you understand? So all this, now do you have to use it? Maybe sometimes you are compelled to use it. So this goes on and on and on. Someone will say, you know what? This will fall into the gray area, doubtful things. I'm not going to mess with it. So you can give more examples about, the unclear matters. Allahu alam. Any comment or question or follow up on this? Faddal ya akhi. Use the mic, please.
I'm going to say this in Arabic إن شاء الله.
تفضل.
بالنسبة للحديث لا تبحثوا عنها عن يعني to what extent we should not ask about these things that Allah has stayed silent about and did not really discuss and made it clear haram, because it's I think it's different from each person angle of view. Like for example, asking about the cheese, where is it exactly made of, the rennet and all these ingredients, or the food ingredients in general. To what extent do you go? Do you call the company and ask where exactly this is from, or you just say Bismillah and you eat? So in general, not just for food, but how do we know what is that line that is where we should stop? Don't ask anymore. It's not that easy really nowadays.
No, it's a very good question, very interesting. So in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, "Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu la tas'alu an ashya'a in tubida lakum tasu'ukum." Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, O you who believe, la tas'alu an ashya'. Do not ask questions about things, certain things in tubida lakum, when it's explained to you. It's going to cause harm to you. And this hadith also explains about that. Let's give some examples. You're traveling. And you arrive at a place, maybe you want to buy food, it's a restaurant, okay? And then you look at the menu, they have beef, they have chicken, they have goat, and so forth. Now you come to the person who operates or who sells the food. Hey, is this halal? Who slaughtered it? Which slaughterhouse? How old was the lamb? And you keep going. I'm giving you an example. The Prophet ﷺ, at one time he was traveling, and this is authentic, with some companions. Amongst them, Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu. And they arrived at a village. So they needed some water to drink and to make wudu and so forth. So Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, very curious. He asked the host, the person who lives there, hey, I would like to know whether some of the animals came around and drank from this water that you have. Because they want to use it for wudu and so forth. Animals come around and drink from the water. In other words, so that we know whether we could use the water or not. The Prophet ﷺ said to the men, do not answer him. Do not answer him. If animals came and drank from it, they have what they drank in their bellies. We have the leftover. And it's lawful for us to drink and to make wudu with it. So he stopped him from even answering the question. This is just one example. I know a person in Texas, Austin, Texas, US. You invite us to your house, or you invite us, to have a dinner, and, just brothers. And I'm not exaggerating, I'm saying it as it is. This brother will ask you, where did you buy the meat? Astaghfirullah. Where did you buy this meat? If you tell him that I bought it from this, did you ask him where he bought the meat? Did you ask him who slaughtered it? Did you ask him whether the person said Bismillah? No, seriously. It's like, come on, man, give me a break. And this is an insult. When a brother invited you and provided you with milk, now you're going to question him who slaughtered, where did you buy it, and so forth. It's really too much. لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسؤكم. So I'm just giving some examples. Do you understand? Now, it is okay if you have a product and you want to read the label, look at it, read the ingredients. There is nothing wrong with that. I have seen some people, they are very particular. Anything he has to read the ingredients before he eats, or else he will not eat. It's going too much. So I was like a chocolate, dark chocolate. No chocolate, there is no baking in chocolate. There is no any alcohol in chocolate. I'm just giving some examples. Now, but, mashallah, individuals, some people take extra caution to do this and do that. Allah reward everyone. But there is a limit. We all know that too much of everything is bad. Too much of everything is bad. So I'm just giving just some examples. But, other than that, it is up to each and every individual to which extent he would like to go. This is first. Second, this does not mean that we don't ask any question at all. No. It doesn't mean that. So we should not take this out of context. Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So we have to know what is halal, what is haram, what we should eat, what is haram for us not to eat, and so forth. In general, and so forth. So we can ask, is this product halal? And so forth. We can ask. Now, but digging too much and going too deep, that might cause harm to us and to other people. That should be. I know I'm not answering the question, as I should, because it's a very broad question. There is no any line that to which extent that we should go or not cross this line and so forth. But too much of everything is bad.
جزاك الله خير شيخ. Another question. أحسن الله إليكم.
وإليكم.
الحديث 27 استفتي قلبك البر واطمأنت إليه النفس واطمأن إليه القلب.
Yes.
Somehow it's related to what you're saying right now. Now, استفتي قلبك, does that mean every person can استفتي his own heart? Because some people are like سوي الفطرة. هناك شخص سوي الفطرة هذا لا غبار عليه. ولكن هناك الشخص الذي يعني تربى في بيئة ويعني ضائعة مثلا نوعا ما، فلما يستفتي قلبه أصلا سيحل الأمور هي حرام في الشرع.
He is referring to Hadith 27, a part of the Hadith that if you want to know something whether it's right or wrong, استفتي قلبك, consult your heart. You know what I'm saying? In other words, your own intuition, your own feeling. It doesn't mean that I should be my own sheikh, and doing my own fatwa. You know what? I consulted my heart. I feel like I eat this stuff. You know what I'm saying? No. That's not what it means. So that is tafti qalbak. You have to take it in the context in matters that there is no clear-cut dalil. In the matters that there is no clear-cut evidence. There is no dalil min al-kitab, from the Quran. There is no dalil min al-sunnah. And then you made your own effort at the end because you have to make some decision. So that is where that happens, or that comes, is tafti qalbak. Or for example, someone tells you that, you know what, don't worry about it. Scholars have differences of opinion about this. So, you have differences of opinion, so don't worry about it. Choose whatever you want. And then your own heart, you don't feel good about it. It's tafti qalbak. So it's not just a general statement.
جزاك خير.
Or jazakum. Fadl ya Sheikh.
ربما لا ينطبق على المثال، لكن هي نكتة حصلت هنا. في شخص قال فلا تستعملوا الكامل، يعني أتى جديد إلى الكلام. بدأ يتحرك بعد ما سمع أن هناك مثلا أشياء تدخل في المواد ويعني غير يعني ليست حلال. فقال بالطعام طبعا، قال لا تشتروا الجبن الموزاريلا المستخدم للبيتزا.
Okay.
قال والله مو حلال. قلت الناس من يعني اين عرفت؟ قال انا سالت كاشير، انا اشتريت.
نعم.
وعرضتها على الكاشير، قلت له هذا حلال. فالكاشير نظر اليها، هو ما راى العلامه.
ايه.
قال هي مو حلال. فما شراها وبدا يقول الناس
إيه.
وما نظر الى المواد يعني او التركيب المواد او الاداه اللي فيها، نظر الى العلامه الاشاره الصايمه حلال.
إيه نعم.
وما وجد قال هي مو حلال.
طيب, let me just summarize it. So basically, this issue is about someone who went to the grocery store and he wanted to buy a product or food or something like that. Long story short, so he doesn't know whether it's halal or haram, so he asked the cashier. So the cashier look at the label, and the cashier says it's halal or it's haram. It's halal or it's not halal. So basically, all what I'm going to make a comment here is that now we have some companies who do due diligence and look into some products and look into ingredients and see whether it's Islamically compliant, whether it's halal and so forth. So now there are some labels. That's my point. There are some labels. So when they put the label, means it's halal certified. So if there is no label, so it's not halal. So we have to be very mindful. Can I ask whether this is halal or there is a label which is certified and so forth? The answer is yes. If there is a label, that's when people made some research and work on it and say that this is halal product or halal food, it is halal. If it's not, they will take the burden of the sin. And vice versa. If it is haram, then it is haram. Sometimes there is no label. Sometimes there is no label and you don't know. So you have to do your own reading of the label, of the ingredients. At the end, if you don't see anything which is haram, then it's permissible to eat. So it's just a huge thing about this haram and halal. And I said this already and I repeat it just in one line. I met a Muslim brother who worked with slaughterhouses. And I'm saying this on knowledge because I saw the person in Omaha, in US. He's a millionaire, Muslim. He works with slaughterhouses. His job is to give them a label, halal, halal, halal. He doesn't slaughter. He doesn't know who slaughtered. It's a business. He just gives them certification of halal. So I'm saying this to say, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Sometimes you eat some meat, you feel comfortable because you are eating the label. It's the label, halal. Wa hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Now, do you have a sin? No. You have no sin because you took some people on their word that they have done due diligence and that is certified halal. And that takes us about dhabiha or non-dhabiha and so forth. There is authentic narration. I mentioned this before. Aisha radiallahu anha. She asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the meat, about the food of the people who gave them food. She said, "La nadri adhakru ismallahi alayhi am la." She said, we don't know whether they mentioned the name of Allah, meaning we don't know whether it's dhabiha. We don't know whether it's dhabiha, meaning slaughtered by a Muslim. Maybe it's from Ahlul Kitab. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, mention the name of Allah and eat. Say Bismillah and eat. And the hadith is authentic. So I leave this dhabiha and other things because I know this is a very huge issue. We go back and forth on this. Okay? Any other question from the hadith? Faddal ya akhi. Use the mic, please.
A long time ago when I was new in Canada, I was working in a meat factory. There was a brother Muslim, like he was taking meat from that company to the Muslim stores.
Yes, he's taking what?
Like chicken, like meat to the meat provider for the Muslims people.
Yes.
But what he was doing, and he was taking from other boxes, like there is lots of companies, Lilydale or Sunrise, and he was putting to the white box and delivering to the Muslim. They says chicken is halal. So what's the point?
Well, you said it all.
Yeah.
You said it all. So basically, this is like he's cheating the people. He's lying to them. They trusted him. You know what I'm saying, right? And he's telling them it's dhabiha. He's telling them it's slaughtered by a Muslim. You have some Muslims, with all due respect, who have their meat stores, and then they bring meat, and Muslims go there. They say this is a Muslim, and this is dhabiha, chicken and other meat, and they buy from him. What I will say Bismillah and eat. If the person is lying, he is responsible before Allah Azza wa Jalla for lying to Muslims and cheating them. But you, there is no sin on you. As long as you are not eating pork, you're eating beef, you're eating chicken, and you took the Muslim by his word that he's a Muslim, he said it's halal. So it's a Bismillah and eat.
As long as you know that it's not halal.
If you know, that goes into two options. Are you eating this because it's part of the product and the food of Ahlul Kitab? You say Bismillah and eat. Do you understand? Or you don't want it, you just want to go to the ranch yourself to slaughter and so forth. Okay? Any other question? For the Akhi. Give the brother the mic, please.
It seems that there are people who dig into, for example, you said that the food of the Ahlul Kitab is halal for us.
Yes.
Instead of just buying and eating, they dig deep into inside to find the haram, not the halal part, the bigger side.
Okay.
They did labels of ingredients and stuff to find haram.
Okay.
That's the problem we have in our community.
Oh, I see what you say. So basically, it's not just they digging down to see the ingredients. Now, let me say this. If you have a meat, okay, let's say from Ahlul Kitab, or from Muslim, okay, the meat is halal, but it is mixed with some other ingredients. I'm just saying this in generalization. And you see that other ingredients contains haram. So it is mixed. Now, this ingredients, which is mixed with the meat, if it's something that is very clear, for example, the smell is clear, or the taste, and so forth, then it becomes haram. I'm saying this to make a clear statement. Let's say that you have a food, okay, with meat and other, but for example, in the process of cooking or preparing this meal, okay, either you know or you didn't know, there was like a red wine, okay? In the process of cooking, they put some little bit of red wine, which the kuffar, it's their meat, their food, and to them they say it gives it good taste. I never tasted it, I'm just making a point. So they put a little bit of red wine or blue wine or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then they cook it. They give it to you, you ate it, and then you knew about it. Now, first, is this food haram to eat because there is some wine in it? First, you have to know that if this is a wine or alcohol, which is you have the taste or the smell, so there is nothing that changes, then it is haram. But because of the process of the cooking, the little wine that was in the food has evaporated. Ihala. It has evaporated. It has changed. So there is no any trace for the wine. Not even the taste, not even the smell, nothing about that. So is it permissible to eat? The answer is yes. Because there is nothing about wine in that food. So I'm saying this to go to your point. You're talking about it's a meat, but there are other ingredients. If that ingredients makes it very clear, so much so that you taste it, you smell it, which is haram, then it is haram. I don't know whether I'm... Yes.
So that would still make it a shubha anyway.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is still a shubha like we talk about, shubha that is unclear and so forth. You leave it, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand? Yeah, because you knew full well that there is a drop of alcohol and so forth. If I knew it, I will not eat it. If I knew that there is, even though it evaporates, I will not even mess with it. I will not eat it. I will eat something different and so forth. Now, yes, give the mic to the brother.
So why we only concentrate on only the food?
Is the mic on, please?
Why we only concentrate on only food? For the other thing, we just ignore and do whatever we want. Why we only for the food?
You heard what the brother said. I know a brother, mashallah, very good brother. You all good brothers. And this brother, he is very, very, very serious when it comes to meat, like the brother said. halal, 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 halal. And I respect that. Zabiha, that's right. So when he's going to slaughter, I say, can you help me out? So I, give him money, slaughter and blah, blah. But here's the point. If you see his daughters walking out, you don't say that they are from Muslim household. I'm serious. There is no any difference between the non-Muslim women and his children. So why are you just halal meat, and these girls are halal meat too? Supposed to cover, no, seriously. Supposed to cover them. Because it is fard for the Muslim women to cover. So you are very serious about the halal zabiha, which is good. And then your wife, she doesn't cover. Your daughters, they don't cover. So your priority is just eating food. So we are choosing and picking. So I see where the brother is coming from. So when we talk about the Sharia and what Allah Azza wa Jalla legislated, we should take it wholeheartedly and all. Not to just to choose and pick. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu dukhulu fi silmi kaffa. Or you who believe enter perfectly in Islam. So it's very sad when we just talk about meat and food, and then, we do riba. It's okay. We steal. It's okay. We cheat. It's okay. We do other things, and we don't worry about it. It's just about the meat. It's like hypocrisy. You just have to be, we have to do due diligence. Any other question, Ikhwan?
Sheikh?
Yes.
How about vanilla extract?
Is there anyone who will make a comment on that? Brothers, is there anyone who has knowledge? The sister is asking about vanilla extract, right? Is there anyone who has knowledge to make a comment about that? Faddal, barakallah feek. So, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If someone... No. If you know about what she's talking about, yes.
I think it takes something...
Get the mic closer a little bit.
It's something similar to nutmeg, where the scholars have said, they differ about it. They say it's similar to nutmeg, where if you take much of it, it's like an intoxicant. But if you take a small amount in cooking and it doesn't actually make you intoxicated, some of them have allowed it. Meaning from the fatwa and everything, they compare it to nutmeg.
So it's...
Basically, it's an ingredient, but it's also an intoxicant.
Oh, okay.
So if you have like a glass full of it, you'll get drunk. But if you just put some in your cooking to make the flavor stronger, then some of us said it's okay, it's an ingredient. Yeah, it has to be a certain percentage. Yeah. They put a few drops in the cake or something to bring the flavor out, right? But don't go and try and drink it and get yourself drunk from it.
So like literally about 0.05% of the whole thing is probably alcohol, which is very, very minute.
Okay. Okay. So you heard what the brother said. I have no knowledge in that. That's why I refer it to. Any other question, Yahwan? Tfaddal.
Sheikh, could you comment on what the basis is for contamination in particular? Because I see a lot of people saying, for example, if pork touches your chicken, or you can't just take it off of your plate and continue eating. They say you just got to throw it away. Is there a basis for this?
Your question,
cross-contamination?
Yeah, your question is very clear. So the answer is yes. If, for example, you have chicken and then you have bacon, for example, touching, you don't eat it, period. Period. There is no if, there is no but, because they're touching this meat, which is chicken, is touching another, bacon and pork and so forth, and it's haram. You have the oil, it's all haram. You don't eat it, period. Yes. Now.
What if pork touches anything else?
I'm sorry?
Any other food? Like
repeat your question.
What if pork touches any other food, like chocolate?
Yeah, that's what we just said. Yeah, so you have pork and it's touching something which is halal, but you have cross-contamination. You don't eat it. It touches the oil, the what is haram, period. You don't eat it because it's fadl.
So any type of like germs from the pork or the juice or anything, if it gets on any type of food, you can't consume it, even if they're like grilling it and it's burned off. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if, let's say that you have is using the same grill, and then using, it's all cross-contamination.
What has to be done to clean that grill before you can start cooking other things? Can they just squirt some water and it's steaming khalas, or do they have to do like soap and like?
They have to clean it thoroughly, and that there should not be any trace, any sign of the previous, cooking. So you call it power washing, you call it soap, or any kind of detergent that you use to wash it, and you have to make sure that. And that's why when you look at the Jewish, process of cooking, they have kosher kitchen. Kosher kitchen. They don't cook anything except kosher. They are even more strict than the halal. And I respect that. So I'm saying this to say exactly that. So don't say that, oh no, we just clean it. No. They have to wash it, use any kind of, make sure that it is thoroughly clean. We cannot take anything less than that. Anything else is haram. It's cross-contamination. Cannot eat with it. Yeah. Any other question, Ikhwan? Yes, Ya Akhi. Mic to the brother, please.
So how important is the knowledge? Can we, if we are not giving any research, can we accountable for this thing?
Jazakallah khair. I appreciate the question. Yes, absolutely. Look, we have knowledge now at our fingertips, So should we at least do due diligence? Should we at least ask? Absolutely. Don't say, khalas, istafti qalbak, I don't have knowledge. I just, istafti qalbi, consult my heart. Just go and, no. Should we ask? Absolutely. The least is that ask someone else. Do some research. Absolutely. And if you don't do anything, you are liable. In other words, you did not do any effort, you did not make any effort, and you are taking things very lightly. You have to ask. If you don't know, you ask those who know. Now, Fadal. Fadal.
So Ramadan, alhamdulillah, it's a few weeks away,
nah.
And there might be some people who have missed fasts for a valid reason.
Right.
They still have to make it up. Is there any type of sin if they wait until after Ramadan to make up these fasts, or is it necessary to finish it before?
Jazakallah khair. When you asked this question, you just reminded me of a previous question. With your permission, I will take that question and then I'll come to you. A sister asked me a question after the dars last week about zakat, because there were questions about zakat and so forth. So she said, can I pay my zakat in advance? I said, yeah, you can give your zakat in advance. But she was actually asking about zakat al-fitr. Zakat al-fitr. Because can I give my zakat in money? I said, wait a minute. First of all, zakat al-fitr is not money. With all due respect. And I know that masajid, they will not appreciate listening to this. Because what happens is that the masjid and Islamic centers, it becomes a harvest. Time to take money from the people. And there is zakat al-fitr $10. Zakat al-fitr $8. That is not the sunnah. Zakat al-fitr is money, is food. من غالب قوت أهل البلد. From the food that people consume. Food that people eat. So giving money is not following the sunnah. Now, you can give min sha'ir, from barley, from wheat, from rice, from date, from the food that people eat. Now, when you give that and you, out of your own accord, you would like to give some extra, some money to help the family, jazakallah khair. But zakat al-fitr is not money. This has to be clear. We have to revive this sunnah. Now, so I hope the sister will hear that. It's not money, it's food. Now, can we send zakat al-fitr to another country? Zakat al-fitr is preferable to collect and distribute from local, from the city, from the town, from the village, to help the people who are poor. Because zakat al-fitr has two benefits. First, طهرة للصائم من اللغو والرفث. It is purification for the person who is fasting. Maybe during the month of Ramadan, he committed minor sins, some mistakes, foul language and so forth. So purification for him. The second benefit of zakat al-fitr, tu'mah lil-masakin, is to provide a meal for people who are poor. So that addresses. Now, can we send zakat al-fitr overseas? Now, it is yes, for necessity. See, yes, if there is a dire need. Let's say that in Yemen, you have people in Yemen, you have people in some other countries, around the world, and that they are really poor, they are really in need. Now, we can collect, zakat in cash, in equivalent to what people will give, send it to another country, advise the people to buy food and distribute. I hope I'm making this clear. So send money, because we send it overseas, so people will receive this money ahead of time, buy food and distribute it. Why? Because of the need, because of the necessity. Other than that, no. We just distribute the food locally. I will take your question and I'll take your question and then I will address the Sheikh's question. Tafadhal.
So this is an advance, no problem. First of Ramadan, you can send the money, but they only buy the food on the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I said it is food, but the money becomes because of the darura, because there are people in other countries. Exactly. So we send money in advance. But other than that, from the local, the sunnah is to give zakat al-fitr on the day of Eid. On the day of Eid, you give zakat al-fitr before you go to Eid prayer. It's permissible a day before Eid, or a couple of days before the Eid. But if you are giving your zakat locally, you don't give it day 1 of Ramadan, day 2 of Ramadan, 4 weeks before the Eid. No. The sunnah is on the day of Eid, or a day before, or a couple of days before the Eid. Okay? So I will take your question.
So what if you are unable to do it before Eid, during Eid?
Jazakallah khair. Now, who should give zakat al-fitr? Zakat al-fitr is obligatory upon every Muslim who has enough for the day. So it's not like zakat al-mal. You have to have a lot of money. We're talking about the 85 gram of gold or 595 of silver. No. You have what is enough for you and for your family for today, and you have surplus. You have more than what is enough for you and for your family for today. Then you give zakat al-fitr. Give zakat al-fitr on behalf of yourself and your wife and your children and all those under your care. All those under your care. Then you give zakat al-fitr and so forth. This is just to summarize it now.
Who is eligible to receive zakat al-fitr?
Jazakallah khair. The same people, the poor. Fuqara al-masakin. No, anyone who is poor, who doesn't have anything. Remember I said anyone who has enough for the day has to give. So it's not like, I'm the poor in the community. Hey, bring your zakah here. Zakat al-fitr here. No, it's not about that. If you have enough for the day of Eid, and then you have more than that, you have to give. Now, so much so that someone who doesn't have it, and then he has 1 or 2, he has more than a day. He also has to help someone else. The essence is that everyone should have something for the day of Eid.
Sheikh?
Naam.
Muslim or non-Muslim, can they still receive...
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Muslim or non-Muslim, can they still receive the...
Jazakallah khair. Very important question. So first answer first. Make sure that this is a celebration of Eid. Eid for the Muslims. So we should make sure that we reach out, make sure Muslims will have enough. Now, to answer your question, sister, if after helping out, making sure that the community, we have Muslims, they have enough, and we know some non-Muslims, can we give them because they are poor and needy? The answer is yes. But first and foremost, make sure that Muslims are taken care of and provided for. To answer the question, specific question, can we help poor non-Muslims? After we help the Muslims, the answer is yes. للفقراء. They are in general fuqara and masakin. So there is no hurmah to help them out. And it is part of min bab al-birr also, reaching out to them. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين الآية. So we can help the Muslims first, and then if we have enough, we can help the non-Muslims. Now, so what's your question again? I'm sorry.
If a person has missed fasts
yes.
for a valid reason, is there any sin if they want to make it up
طيب.
after Ramadan?
Barakallah fiqh. And Sheikh, my friend asked a question. Someone who couldn't give the zakat al-fitr on the day of Eid. If the person did not give zakat al-fitr intentionally, he did not, or she did not give till after Eid, it becomes just sadaqah. So the reward is not the same. You have to give before the Eid. After the Eid, you still have to give. But it's not the same reward. It's just an ordinary... oh, of course. It's a sin when you delay and you don't have exact reward. Exactly. So I'm getting old now.
If a person has missed fasts, is there any sin if he waits until after Ramadan?
If someone has debt of fasting, the person has to make effort to pay before the next Ramadan comes in. Now, if the person intentionally, defaulted, intentionally did not pay the debt, it becomes a sin on the person. But again, he or she must also make those fasting up, even though it's a sin, because the person delayed the fasting on purpose.
Could you mention a dalil in specific as to why it has to be before Ramadan?
Because it is a debt which has to be performed in that specific time frame before the next Ramadan. In other words, the fasting of Ramadan has to be performed in the month of Ramadan. فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. But this أيام أخر has a limited time before the next Ramadan. Now, before the next Ramadan, to pay off. If the person did not pay, the debt is still there, but that becomes a sin. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said in authentic narration that she used to delay some of her debt in Ramadan, but she pays in Sha'ban before Ramadan. You hear that? So there is a deadline. The deadline is before the next Ramadan. If the person did not, it's still a debt, like the one who didn't pay zakat al-fitr on time, is a sin, but the person has to pay. So in this one, it is a sin because the person delays till the next Ramadan, but the person has to pay.
So from the ayah of the Quran, we have a general, ayyam al-ukhar, and then you have the way of Aisha radiallahu anha. But is there a specific restriction or something like a marfu hadith that says it has to be before this?
Jazakallah khair. I appreciate the question. The statement of Aisha radiallahu anha made it crystal clear that it is a line that you don't violate, that you don't cross. And she made it very clear that she chills, she waits. Why? Because there is a leeway. Having said that, the priority of paying the debt is ASAP, as soon as possible. But it's also, you have a leeway until. That's why she says that, you know what, I pay my debt, but I cannot take my time. But even though I take my time, I pay it in Sha'ban. Why? Because it is a red line, because it has to be paid before Ramadan comes in. I don't know what I'm, yeah. So, but I know there is no clear ayah in the Quran to explain this. But the statement of Aisha radiallahu anha, being the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, has a weight that you don't let it cross without any tangible reason. Allahu a'lam. Yes, and in Hadith she said because sometimes she's preoccupied with the Prophet. I understand that, but she has the whole year. But she said she's preoccupied, with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in other words, she has reason why she let it elapse, but still she has to pay it before Ramadan comes in. Sisters, if you have any question, please come in.
Sheikh, some people say that if you have wudu and you touch a dog or a dog salivates on you, your wudu is broken. Is that true?
There is no any hadith that I know that when you touch a dog, it nullifies your wudu or anything like that, or a cat or the saliva of cat or anything. The hadith makes it clear about the saliva of the dog. When the dog is from a plate or a bowl, you wash it 7 times. أولاهن, another hadith, أخراهن بالتراب. The first, out of the 7 times you wash, or the last, in the 7th, you use some dirt, meaning some sand. And this madda, this ingredient that helps to wash the dirt is in the detergent that you have. So you wash it 7 times when the dog is from your cup or your plate or bowl and so forth. But I don't remember any hadith about nullifying the wudu because you touch a dog or something like that. There is no any hadith about that. There is no any hadith that the dog, because of the saliva of the dog or the cat, will nullify your wudu. I don't have any dalil on that. Sisters, any other question?
Salam, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam. Nah.
My question is it permissible to eat from a polytheist house provided that the food is vegetarian, there's no meat?
Jazakallah khair. So the question is very clear. So if it's vegetarian food and you are sure that it is what it is, then it's not haram. Because it's like you're eating salad, you're eating vegetarian food, right? There is no meat involved, so there is no any doubtful matter in this. It's just, salad or it's vegetarian. So I think, yes, you can eat because it is what it is. There is no any meat in that food. Allahu Alam. Now.
So when you make up the Sawm for Ramadan after the due date, do you still get good deeds for making up for the...
Oh, Jazakallah khair. The person will be rewarded for his or for her good deeds. And the bottom line is that you pay a debt. It is a debt that you owe. Right? فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. The person will be rewarded for fasting. But listen, the reward of fasting in the month of Ramadan, mashallah, the month of Ramadan is unique. And the reward in the month of Ramadan is different. Having said that, the person who owes must still make up and pay what he or she owes. And the person will be rewarded for, paying his or her debt of fasting. Yes. Now, use the mic, please.
إذا كان الشخص مريضا
نعم.
والمرض يرجى برؤه
نعم.
وانتظر لحتى يبرأ ولم يبرأ إلى أن أتى رمضان القادم، هل يبقى هذا الدين عليه من الصوم أم يطعم إطعاما؟ هو قد يبرأ بعد 6 أشهر، يعني بعد سنة ونصف من هذا رمضان قد يبرأ، فماذا يفعل؟
Brother is asking that a brother was very sick, but the illness, we have 2 types of illness. One type of illness is that someone is sick and there is no hope for his recovery. There is no hope that he will recover. And someone is sick and there is hope. Let's say that, it's the month of Ramadan, I just have a headache, So I have a stomach ache, so I'm not fasting for a day or 2 because I'm sick. I'll make up. So the question is, someone was sick and then he couldn't fast some days, and then basically now Ramadan is in. He is owing. So the question is that, should he feed the poor for the days which he missed in previous Ramadan, or is a debt? وَأَنْ تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. The answer is that fasting is better for you. So in other words, he or she, if he or she is capable of fasting this Ramadan, the person will fast. Okay? So let's fast this Ramadan first. And then after this Ramadan, the person will pay the days he owes, meaning fast. Yasum. The person will fast the days he owes in the previous Ramadan. Unless if the person cannot because of the illness, on and off and so forth, then amruhu ilallah, then he will just feed because he is not capable of fasting.
So if there was no hope for recovery, he has to pay and feed?
If there is no hope for recovery, he will feed, pay every day miskin. If there is no hope for recovery. Let's say someone, subhanallah, he's on and off, he cannot, then he will feed. Because his condition, what is that? دخل الوقت خلاص we let it here inshallah to be continued. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Tomorrow inshallah 6:30. نعم.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا تقاربوا تراصوا حاذوا بين المناكب الأقدام سدوا الفرج لا تختلفوا فتختلف قلوبكم استووا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. يا أيها الذين كفروا لا تعتذروا اليوم إنما تجزون ما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا توبوا إلى الله توبة نصوحا عسى ربكم أن يكفر عنكم سيئاتكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار